All right. We're live on YouTube. What is going on, everyone? It is Thursday, and you know what that means? It means it's time for the Higher Ed Hemp Tours Texas Hemp Party.
What?
Who's ready to party? That was some party music. I like it. So we're super stoked today. A lot of exciting stuff to talk about. Some cool things going on. Man, just so much going on, so many cool events, some new events coming up, and we're really excited to have a special guest with us, and that's Russell. So we're gonna have some fun, guys, like we always do. So let's get right into it. This week was pretty exciting. I've been over at the Emerge Virtual Cannabis Conference. Before this, I almost forgot, neglected to tell you, I am your host, Leah Laxtons. I'm a native Kentuckian with a passion for hemp. I'm joined by Captain Cannabis.
Hey, guys.
And of course, our producer, Cynthia Morales.
What's up, everyone? Hi.
And Russell is our special guest this week. And Russell, tell us, you're up in Dallas, is that right?
Yes, we're actually in Richardson, so about 15 minutes north of downtown. So.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I know that area. That's a really cool spot.
Yeah, right off of 75 and Campbell, or 75 and Arapahoe. So.
Okay, yeah, up on the I guess that's the north side. Is that considered the north side, pretty much?
Yeah, it's just a little suburb right outside of Dallas. So.
Very cool, for sure. So this week I've been doing the Emerge Cannabis Conference, which was pretty awesome because it's in VR. So definitely will crush your computer if you're on a laptop, but super worth it. Yesterday I was in a room like next to Steve D'Angelo's avatar, and I nerded out. I did not engage him, but I was there, and I was just like, whoa, our avatars are next to each other. This is too cool. It was super awesome. And I had the privilege to be on a really, really cool panel about cannabis tourism on Tuesday. And you can actually go back and watch the replays of all of these panels and all of these events if you subscribe for the access, which is like $10. Super awesome. You can go back and watch all the panels and interact. Today's the last day. I believe tonight is going to be Ricky Williams has the closing presentation, and then they're gonna have like they've been partying this thing. It's like MJ BizCon virtual style. Like they go into the night with DJs. So if you haven't already, I highly suggest you check it out. You can go back and watch our panel back. Brian Applegarth from the California Cannabis Tourism Association actually was the host of our panel, and just a phenomenal guy. He had some really incredible statistics about what consumers think about cannabis and hemp and the tourism aspect of it all. So be sure to go check out Emerge. You can play back our little 45-minute discussion that happened. It was super, super fun. And I can't wait to see how this develops into the future. If they end up doing this in person next year, remain virtual, it's going to be really cool. So let's get into it with our special guest, though. Let's get into it with Russell. We want to know a little bit about how you got in this industry and what you've been up to up there in Richardson. What are you guys all about?
Well, actually, I have it's kind of like twofold. We have our brand, which is AirMed Hemp Extracts. We started that about 3 years ago. A buddy of mine, actually, who's in my Lincoln Continental Car Club, he lives in Indiana, and he's a big activist up there. He has several stores, and he was like, "You need to get into CBD." I wish I would have listened earlier, 5-6 years ago, when he was trying to get me to do this. We got in a little bit too late, but there's still plenty of room. So here in Texas, obviously, you guys are familiar how crazy it was until last year when they finally came out with all the guidelines. It was a super gray area. So we strictly only did THC free products for the first couple of years, just because we were doing a lot of festivals, stuff like that. This is before we had our storefront. So we would go and, we would set up. Sometimes police would come up to us and kind of harass us. We'd show them our COAs and it'd all be fine. Some cities didn't care. So that's kind of how we got started. And then everybody would, if we were doing a local stuff, Plano, Frisco area, they're like, oh, you're so knowledgeable. I want to send my come to you, talk to you. Where's your store at? And of course, we didn't have them. We were strictly online. So with all the challenges of, Facebook, Google, you can't advertise or anything like that, or, especially a couple of years ago. So we decided to open up our storefront, DFW CBD, which is actually what I was going to call my brand at the beginning. But I was like, I can't be a national brand or a global brand that's named after, the DFW Metroplex. So in hindsight, it worked out because I had already bought the domain name and I just kept it for a couple of years. I knew I would eventually end up using it for something. And lo and behold, we ended up opening our store in Richardson. So
that's very cool. Yeah, I think that's really interesting point that you just touched on because, being in Austin, we didn't have as many of the issues around CBD in the early days. It was pretty much like, they don't really care about any kind of cannabis down here. It's all fine with law enforcement. But
sure.
in DFW, this was a real issue, like national news making, confiscations in the airport.
Forts, yeah. And then Fort Worth was super, super strict, which we didn't even go out there because we didn't even want to hassle with their law enforcement because they were doing like automatic felonies for CBD, whether it was THC free or not. And then just the testing they have, can't even tell you. I've had our THC free pop up. I have some law enforcement friends and they've tested it on a field test and it shows up, as THC, just because their tests aren't able to distinguish even between cannabinoids, much less the amount of THC in the product. So
yeah,
well,
that's
and
funny.
then when they charge you with it, they weigh the packaging and everything. So like it was a vape pen, they're charging you for the full weight of the vape pen, which was really silly.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy if you're doing, even if you were to be doing an edible or something like that. Yeah, especially here in Texas, they charge you for that. You got a 6-ounce, piece of a brownie that might have 25 milligrams of THC or whatever, and you're getting charged for 6 ounces of concentrate.
It's unbelievable, but we've definitely come a long way on the CBD front. Thank goodness with House Bill 1325. Now I'm looking at this infrared sauna.
Yes.
So this is here at your place. You've got the
infrared.
So our store, one thing that I wanted to do, because everything that's around us right now is strictly franchises. So we have a lot of like American Shaman, CBD Pluses, CBD Now, or whatever they are. There's a million of them these days. So that was my biggest focus.
My CBD store, your CBD store,
everyone's CBD store.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think we have 15 stores around ours within a 5-mile radius to give you kind of idea of how many shops are here now. We have had a couple of them go under, from the whole COVID stuff. So I think that's the biggest thing though that differentiates us between them is even though I have my own brand and I think it's fantastic, I hate going into a place and they sell you on one thing because that's all that they can sell you. So whether you very well may believe that your CBD store brand or American Shaman is the best, but if you don't give me options, then it's kind of hard for me to believe you, if it is or if it isn't. So what we did is we took all the local franchises that are around us. We carry those brands plus the nation, top brands like Charlotte's Web and all the big guys, as well as my brand, Airmid. So we carry about 15 to 20 different brands at any given time. That way you can come in, we can educate you, tell you about all the different brands, different price points, so you can determine what's going to be the best fit for you and the best fit for your budget as well. So that's something that we're doing that's a little bit different than everyone else in our area. But yes, we do also have the infrared saunas and float tank sensory deprivation, which is 800 pounds of Epsom salt and 200 gallons of water. It's completely pitch black, no light, no sound. So it's a pretty unique experience as well. So for me, all these things kind of go hand in hand. I mean, CBD is great for, inflammation and all the things that it helps, but you can also achieve those things through diet or sauna or float tanks. So we're trying to do a whole wellness type of atmosphere, not just, reselling CBD to people. So.
Nice.
Absolutely. We've been talking about the float tank. I'm still a little, I don't know. I like the idea of the deep meditation, but like the pitch black, the door closing part. But Captain Cannabis really wants to try it, right?
I may have dyslexia, but I'm not phloberclaustic.
Yeah, we ours are a little bit different. They have a bunch of different styles of float tanks. Like some are just big open rooms, so that would be good for someone who's claustrophobic. The plastic pods that like really shut down your face, those would kind of be the opposite if you're claustrophobic. Ours are kind of somewhere in between. They're actually more of like a tent. You get in there, it doesn't lock or anything like that. So I mean, you're very easily you can sit straight up if you need to. You can push the door open, so it's not too claustrophobic, but we definitely have had people get out after a couple of minutes like, nope, this isn't for me. So it definitely is a unique experience.
Do you also have a tank that plays music, or if you want a certain vibration, a certain
we don't, because my
1,000
biggest thing, yeah, I mean, my biggest thing was the whole sensory deprivation aspect of it. So I didn't want the lights and the sound, and some places have that. We have people that request that, but ours is kind of just like a bare bones. It's not a fancy spa that you're going into with this tranquil music and this and that. But we also charge 50 cents a minute, so it's $30 for an hour float, which most places are $80 to $100. So
yeah,
it's
that's
just kind
great.
of giving you the bare bones experience to experience it without all the bells and whistles, but you still get the benefits from the magnesium and the Epsom salt, as well as just the decompression.
Does it help you tap in? Meaning, once you can quiet your mind, meaning even if you had music, your mind's probably going to be thinking about that music. So if you're inside a tank that has no sound, darkness, you can actually go in to where you quiet your mind completely and then tap into the universal consciousness, or what I like to call the quantum internet.
Yeah, I mean, we have people that come. Like I said, it is a completely kind of unique experience for everybody. Some people come in there and they meditate. They kind of get on that vibe like what you're talking about. We have people that fall asleep in there, which I have not been able to do. I kind of always get the when you're a kid and you fall asleep in class, you kind of nod off like right at the last second. That's what always happens to me right before I fall asleep. I can never fully fall asleep in there, but I forget what it is. It's something like an hour of sleep in that float tank is like 4 to 6 hours of REM sleep, just because it's so no light, no sound. You are completely floating. You have no pressure points. Even when you lay down on a bed, if you're trying to relax, your body's still going to have those pressure points where it's meeting the mattress or whatever surface. So this, with all the Epsom salt, it's like the Dead Sea. So you completely float. You're weightless. I feel like I'm floating through space. It's kind of like I said, a really unique experience. Everyone,
you probably
sees
are
something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this total wellness approach that you have here, where it's beyond just CBD or beyond even just your brand of CBD, that you're really allowing the consumer to experience such a wide variety here on the wellness side.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I wanted to something different than what everybody else is doing. I mean, anybody can walk into a CBD shop. I mean, that's not, especially now, 2020, that's, like I said, they're on every street corners and gas stations. So we provide our biggest thing is education. So people come in, ask questions. We give them, we can tell you anything you want to know about CBD. We know more about it than, probably anything else in my life right now. So it's what we eat, live, and breathe right now. So we come in, educate you, and let you make an educated decision based on your needs and budget. What products, if any, that you want. So we've had customers come in. They're like, I can't believe you're not trying to sell us anything. Like, we had a shop owner just chase us out into the parking lot trying to get us to buy something. Like, that's not really, the hard sell is not our approach at all. It's more or less of, we're going to give you the information and tools to make the decision, and whatever you decide on, if anything, we're here to help you with that. So
yeah, I love that approach. I think just moving forward, that's what resonates with people, and even down to the younger generations, even more so. We've talked a lot about it being in sales for many years, like the impending doom sale, and how ridiculous it really is. Because when you're like, you have to buy this right now, and then the next day you drive by and you're like, the sale's still on, like, then you're just pissed off.
Or the next time you go to the mall and they're like giving you that same deal after they sold you $300 worth of salt from the Middle East.
Yeah, and you're like, are you serious? Are you serious? So no, I love this. I think it goes so well with CBD being calming and sort of elevating your life and your body, and reaching this calm middle balanced, there we go, is the word, like this balanced state. So this approach works really well, I believe.
Yeah, and then that, and we don't, I know some people are out there making kind of ludicrous claims about, this is a cure-all for everything that you ever had. It's going to make you grow a foot taller and put $10,000 in your bank as soon as you start taking it, type ridiculous stuff. So we we try to give a realistic expectation of, look, this is, everyone's body chemistry is different. Everybody reacts differently to this. You could see no results. You could, it could be completely life changing for you, and
Yes.
everywhere in between. So we want to give people realistic expectation and not, sell them this dream of, oh, okay, well, you have a broken leg. This miracle cure, you're going to be running the 40 tomorrow, which unfortunately, that's
Yes.
why
No,
CBD
but within
such a
1
bad
week.
name.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So we try to give you, like I said, a realistic expectation, and we're not going to sell you on anything. And if you decide it's for you, then great. We're here to help you. So, which seems
I
to be
love that.
a rarity in this industry that I'm finding, the more and more people I deal with and the longer that I'm in it. So.
Yeah, no doubt. That's what we say, in CBD, it's awesome. It's a great industry. It's fascinating, right, in cannabis, but it is very much like one or the other. People are in it to change the world or in it for the money. And there's not really this middle ground, which I think's great because you sort of right away are able to see where people are coming from and what their intent is in the industry. But at the same time, sometimes you're just like, whoa, like just, oh man, just, it's all over the place. It's very interesting industry. And it never a dull moment, I will say.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, it's usually the people who are the best marketers or have the biggest budget that are succeeding, not the people who are making the best products or looking out for people, unfortunately. But not that there's anything wrong with capitalism, but if we can find a way to kind of merge the two where you can help people and still make a living off of it is what we're trying to do. We're trying to combine the best of both worlds, essentially.
Yeah, for sure. And
we're pushing conscious capitalism.
Conscious capitalism.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. That's what's going to change the world.
We all have to have a fair playing field. And but you have to care about your employees. If your employees are living in shambles because it's like, well, we're in competition, so let's just cut away all the money from the employees. Well, that's not life. And so we have to be conscious of multiple things. But if we can all get on the same page and say, hey, let's do fair competition without hurting anyone, that's conscious, being conscious about how we handle.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's, a lot of different ways about it, whether you're, selling stuff, or people are trying to race to the bottom, of a price point, just undercut everybody. That doesn't help us and doesn't help the consumer because, once you start cutting quarters and your sole focus is profit or money, then, your quality is going to start dipping generally,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
right.
right.
The wrong business.
So. and I think the regulations are a good thing that are going to help to a certain extent even this out, because before now it was just very much like the cheapest guy won, and ultimately we saw where that went with isolate, that then all of a sudden our market gets flooded with isolate from China. And not that there's not quality there as well, but there's also a lot of question marks around that quality that came into the US. And so when price is the driving factor, then that's not what's best for the consumer. And we see this reflected in what consumers want, because they actually resonate with the higher price point now in CBD, but they feel like the cheaper, they're worried about the quality. So
sure, yeah, we try to meet in the middle ground, I guess. I mean, we make like our full spectrum that we make is kind of different than everybody else's. I mean, you guys know as well as I do. I mean, probably 90% of the stuff that's labeled full spectrum, maybe not even have THC in it, or if it does, it's barely readable. Maybe one minor cannabinoid on there. It's not a true full whole plant spectrum. So
yeah,
in ours we put everything in there. So I mean, it's not only the CBD content, but we make our THC at 0.29, so it's right at the legal limit. So you're getting the most for it. We have CBDV, CBG, CBC, CBN in our full spectrum. So you're really getting that entourage effect, which that's another thing that we teach people about how much better that works. I mean, I can pick up my desk here by myself, but if all three of us pick it up on a corner and move it, we're much more powerful. We're much more effective as a team. That's the whole entourage effect, and that's what we try to make our products as much as the full plant as we can. So.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point, Russell, for sure. There's a lot we crack up at the labs, when you pull up the full and it's like you said, a trace of one or two cannabinoids and then all CBD, that's not full spectrum. So
yeah, they splash a little distillate in with that isolate oil that they made just enough to.
Yeah, that's it.
That's right.
People who know, but I mean, the consumer, I mean, this is still, for me, it's a weird experience when I run into somebody who doesn't know about CBD, and I'm like, oh, I mean, I live it and breathe and I do it every day. So I'm like, how have you not heard about this? But there's still some people who haven't, and they are not educated on all this stuff. And those are the people that come into my store and they're like, well, I tried CBD, but it didn't work for me. And that's
Yep.
usually my first question is, well, what did you take and how much were you taking? Because, if you buy a 100 milligram bottle from a gas station, yeah, it's probably not going to work too well for you. So trying to diagnose,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
Trying to
exactly.
diagnose what,
We miss the in-person tours because it was always a great opportunity for us to get outside the industry and talk to the vast majority of people, really didn't understand, like what I think our stat is 93% didn't know the difference between full broad and isolate. And like 82% had tried CBD. So we'd always start with like, y'all are just putting stuff in your bodies that like, what are you guys doing?
yeah,
So
you
it's
don't
really
know. Like,
interesting.
I've seen so many people like, oh, I took this brand, so I'll look it up on my phone just to kind of see what they were, doing. And there's no COAs, or it's just a cannabinoid profile, not a full spectrum for, heavy metals or toxins or, all that kind of stuff that can potentially be harmful. So, you're taking a natural holistic medicine and, ended up causing yourself harm, or they put a bunch of artificial flavorings or crazy stuff in there that,
Yeah.
are making it,
Oh yeah.
which I don't get. Yeah, you're taking something natural and making it not natural, which defeats the purpose of people looking for natural medicine.
Exactly. Hey, Cynthia, I think Alex might be trying to get in. If you could send her the code, I think she's at the store that we were trying to go to, hopefully. So hopefully we'll be on to check
Okay,
it out and
let me check with her.
see what's up. So yeah, if you can get her that info. But yeah, absolutely. And we've been talking about this on the front of the water compatible products, the nano products, and how, if you're nano sizing a full spectrum like that, imagine if, there can be obviously residual heavy metals and things like that in hemp, because it's a great cleaner of the earth, right?
Sure, yeah.
So if you have a little arsenic in there, and then that is being basically nano sized down,
or even lead.
Lead's an issue in hemp.
Yeah, it showed up, right? So if you're nano sizing that, then you just took the lead's bioavailability from 23% up to 80%, 73 to 80%. That's very dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. You're making the absorption better, but you're making everything in that product better absorbed, and that may not be your end goal. Which, even if you're getting a flower, you have your biomass that you test. Once you concentrate that down, like it may not show up on your biomass test that it shows lead or heavy metals or anything, but once you concentrate that into a distillate or isolate, you very well could have that reintroduced back into your product. So.
Absolutely. So testing it every step of the way. And again, I love the fact that Texas is requiring the full panel, the pesticides, the heavy metals, and the cannabinoid profile. So kudos to the state of Texas on that part.
Yes. Yeah.
On the rest of it.
Yeah, we'll see how they're able to enforce it or not. So I know we have our grow license, our hand roller license. We've applied Department of Health for our manufacturing license. All these millions of licenses are making us get now, which is good as long as they enforce it. I think the last I talked to somebody, they had like 2 or 3 people that are going to be policing this in the whole
That's
state.
what I've heard.
And
I think there's 7 for the entire state, and last count was like 3,000 brands and retailers in Texas. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's more. So I don't know how they're going to be able to handle it, but if they do actually enforce it, I'll be a big fan of that, just because it will weed out the people who are in this for the wrong reason. They're not going to pay all these fees and permits and do all this stuff, because it's too many hurdles to jump through if this isn't your passion and you're not doing this for the right reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think at the very least, this is great education for the consumer, because they're hearing these news reports. They're hearing about the requirements. A lot of them are starting to understand the lab reports now. In the beginning, we were like, well, you're requiring labs, but like, what does that matter if the consumer can't read a lab report anyway? So now the consumer is getting a little better educated on all of these topics, for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty detailed if you don't know what you're looking at. It's like a foreign language if you're not understanding the percentages and weights and even the different cannabinoids. Like in our store, we sell CBG and CBN tinctures, which aren't really big yet. They are, but not around. The most diverse stuff, because there's this whole plant that's an amazing plant, and everyone knows about CBD obviously and THC, but the CBNs and the CBGs have all these great therapeutic and have their places as well. So hopefully we'll be able to explore more of that, and that'll start becoming more mainstream as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw on the New Frontier study, they just came out with some information on what consumers know about CBG and CBN. And I was surprised that CBN was actually more new about that. It was around 9%, and CBG still down in the 3-4% range. And these were consumers who have tried CBD. So they've tried CBD, and then they asked them, hey, do you know what these are? And still under 10% on both those categories. But CBN seems to be sort of the one that is, I think, because people feel it, right? Like it has an actual effect. You get
Yeah,
tired.
super powerful sedative. I mean, well, I think we sell a 300 milligram tincture, and you only need
Oh,
about a fourth
wow.
of a dropper to do that. And that's what, like, when people walk in, the first thing we ask them is, why are you here? Like, what are you trying to fix? What are you trying to remedy? And if people come in and they're only looking for better sleep, I try to, recommend that and push them towards that as well. If they're solely looking for sleep, nothing else, I mean, it is a great sedative. Obviously, it's still pretty expensive. Just the material cost is more to make it, which in turn means the product price is higher. So we do get a little pushback on that from some people, like, oh, I don't know if I want to try this and spend $130 on this bottle, but it definitely is great. And hopefully, just like our industry, ED stuff, it's crazy. I mean, I think I'm paying 1,000% less on raw material than what I was paying 3 years ago when I started my company. So
Oh
just
yeah.
even
Wow.
the
Yeah.
fall of everything. I mean, the ISA prices, what they are now to what they were 3 years ago is insane. So I'm assuming everything else will follow. The CBN and CBG concentrates to make that a more affordable option for people. So
Yeah, I think absolutely. I'm hoping that we'll hit a balance here as, supply and demand. Obviously, that's what's happened here. So for the farmer, sadly, the market has really fallen out. But I think also we had a lot less farmers grow this year nationwide. Granted, in Texas, we're just like everybody's growing hemp, So but I also think Texas is a little more, we love to buy local here, right? Like,
sure.
if you're in other states, it's not as big a deal. In Texas, we're always like, hey, like, is it Texas made or not? So, or you
Exactly.
have
Yeah,
more of that indication.
Texas is very proud of Texas, so you definitely we
Absolutely.
definitely want to buy stuff that's made here, and I'm glad we finally have the opportunity to be able to grow here and start buying Texas made stuff. We did a small indoor CBG grow this year,
Oh,
just because I'm kind of
wow.
waiting to see how it does in the Texas climate. I know people who have never grown cannabis before, and they go plant a whole bunch of acres here in Texas this first year, and I'm hoping they don't pop hot, but with our crazy droughts and heat and this and that and genetics not being grown here, I was going to give it a little while before we start doing anything outdoors and some genetics that are stable for our climate and our atmosphere first. So
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I think, that really a lot of people I think are going that route. And of course, this is going to be a work in progress. I don't think the majority of farmers here thought that they were going to grow and be rich overnight. The ones that we've spoken with at least had this understanding that everything's going to be a little bit different because of the plant. So hopeful, fingers crossed, we're really hopeful that next year, that we're going to be able to see some really unique products here. But I'm absolutely loving the indoor grow stuff that we've seen. We've seen several shops. I think it's such a great idea because when that customer walks in, you have this opportunity to educate them hands-on with this
sure.
plant.
Yeah, unfortunately, we were going to grow at our shop. We have a big area in the back that we don't use, but we were getting some pushback before we even set up a grow. Just even when we would roll pre-rolls or break open pounds, stuff like that. I guess they can smell it going through our HVAC system
Oh,
because it's all one big
wow.
system. So I guess they could smell it, and so I was like, this probably is not the best location for that. So we're just doing it at another office of mine, just a small little 10 by 10 tent, nothing crazy. Just I want to get my license one just to get it for the manufacturing and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully my plan for that is for next year to have an actual big legitimate cannabis indoor grow in a warehouse that we can grow, a bunch of different strains, a bunch of different varieties. And then, hopefully if and when it does finally, become legal here for the entire higher THC cannabis, we'll kind of already be set up, ready to go. And then we can tackle both
Yeah.
sides of it because we definitely want to be in that industry as well, but we're not just going to abandon the whole CBD side of it because there's people that want both and need both that aren't necessarily don't want to get high, but they want the medical benefits. So we definitely want to be able to accommodate everybody if and when that time comes.
Well, and what you're
absolutely.
doing is you're actually choosing to be vertically integrated. So, and you're also working with other companies too, meaning you're selling their products. But eventually, I mean, if you're doing the grow and you have your extraction equipment, and then you're able to do all your products that way. Well, I mean, that's you're a totally vertically integrated company.
Yeah, that's what we're going for. I mean, for that to happen, obviously we'll be doing, we'd have to do some outdoor growing, stuff like that. We're not going to start turning indoor flower into extraction.
Actually, I hate to say it. Yeah, you can. I mean, you don't have to grow that much. I mean, especially depending on the size of your operation. And that's what we've always, we've been to a lot of these conventions throughout the past couple of years for farmers too, so I'm more of a science guy. So, and I know how to make nanotech, I've got all the equipment. We've done all kinds of things like this too. But what you find is, yeah, I mean,
they do a lot in a small area. It's crazy.
You don't need more than an acre. I mean, you look at, is it Veritas Farms?
Oh yeah, Veritas in Colorado. They're like 2 acres, and they're one of the largest brands.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so it is funny when guys come in like, we're going to grow 50 acres. You're just like, oh my God, why? No, please, no, don't start with that. Don't start with
Who are you going to sell it to?
Unless it's fiber, of course. But I think from the consumer standpoint, this vertical integration is what they want, because you're going to be able to really manage that quality control all the way through.
Sure. Yeah. That's the biggest thing. Like for my company, I mean, we're not a huge company by any means, but I physically do everything. Like I go to our lab, I make all the products, I package them, I'm the one who mails them. So that's my biggest concern of why I haven't had anybody take in or step in that role, is because I want to make sure you will never pull one of my products off any shelf, run a third-party lab test, and it's going to be anything other than what I tell you it is. And I personally do it, so I can vouch for it. I don't have to worry about doing a white label or anything like that. There's anything wrong with that kind of approach, but I'm the same way. Quality control is my biggest thing, so I have to do it all myself, unfortunately, which makes for some long nights sometimes. But I know everything that goes out with my brand on it is going to be exactly what I'm telling you it is.
It's peace of mind for sure. Well, and that's why we wanted to get you on, Russell. We really appreciate and love the example that you're setting on quality in this industry here in the state of Texas, no doubt. And we're just, grateful to have gotten to talk with you and get to know you a little better in your operation. And I definitely want to check out one of the tanks, though. I think we're going to have to make a Dallas trip.
Yeah,
we're going to have to make a Dallas trip and check this out.
Absolutely. You guys come up. We can give you some of our Delta 8 products before you get in the float tank. You can have a real crazy experience. So, yeah, we just started in that. We'll see if we're able to continue keep making it. We make a beverage that's Delta 8. So it's Delta 9, Delta 8, Delta 10, CBD, CBC, and CBN. So again, back to that whole full spectrum. And it has way more of an effect on just the way that everything's interacting with the entourage effect. We've sampled a bunch of Delta 8 products, cartridges, gummies.
On your drink, though, that you mentioned, what kind of drink is it? The soda
just a beverage, just a juice. And we make it in a 2-ounce serving, an 8-ounce serving, and a 16-ounce serving. Our serving size is only 1 ounce, so you don't need a lot of it. You're definitely drinking the entire thing. But we make it a different size so you can medicate accordingly. We just want to have an option. Go ahead.
Are you using a water compatible product?
I am experimenting with that this weekend. I have all the nano equipment, the high shear homogenizers, ultrasonic homogenizers. We have all that equipment to do it, and it definitely mixes it well and thoroughly for equally dosing, but it doesn't it does separate, kind of like your oil and water. You just got to shake it really well.
Well, you got to, but are you have to have your tween, you use a tween 80, tween 20. So there's
like the one of the emulsifiers, right?
I have some in from a company, an ultrasonic company. We got some of their surfactant in that's going to keep it separated. I haven't had a chance to that's what I'm doing this weekend. It's going to play around with that and see how it separates, and hopefully a better bioavailability and quicker onset. Because now, if you take about 1.5 ounces of this, it feels like a 10 milligram edible from a legal state. You definitely have some effect from it. But it takes about an hour, 45 minutes, just like a normal edible would. So if we can speed up that bioavailability and make it bigger, better, faster, stronger, where you don't need as much, then that's obviously a plus for the consumer as well. So
that's awesome.
Some nanos do take more time. but oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Speaking of time, how are we doing on time?
Yeah, speaking of time, Cynthia, how are you doing? Do we have a Spanish word of the week this week?
Hey guys. Yeah, so 1 second. I was going to just talking to Isaac today. Hey, what's up, guys?
Isaac.
Yes, we're trying to settle things down because Grubhub, FYI, just canceled our order. I know, little things, but we were like, man, it was supposed to be here at 1, but didn't realize. And they canceled it at 1:30.
No.
I know. So he's been a little cranky. But actually,
he's hangry.
My theory is on that stuff though is that these guys, just like you're waiting on an Uber, or better yet, it'd be one of the other writing programs, and then someone picks you up and they're like, they have 3 different phones going, and so those are the ones that are canceling your order, because if they're working with 2 or 3 different other restaurant apps, then they're grabbing the better ones and canceling on you. So they'll figure this out though. I know they'll figure this out.
Right, 2020 problems where I can't get my food in 10 minutes.
Well, no, it wasn't 10 minutes. This was ordered at 11 a.m.
Oh no.
You should have ordered it
at 11 to get it. Yeah.
You should have ordered it at 10:30. No.
I mean, right.
It'll just make whatever you order after this taste that much better, because you'll be
so true.
Hungry, so.
Yeah.
Yes,
so true.
Exactly. I know. Well, I guess in the meantime, afterwards, I should be pachaquear because I have time now.
Pachaquear.
And so that was actually, I think we were talking about that word last week. Do y'all remember?
Yes.
So, yes, this is what we usually say in Mexico when we want to get high. Pachaquear. Yeah, you want to go pachaquear? I know, we got some.
How do you say I want to go to a high-end restaurant? Pachaquear.
Oh, I don't know. Well, remember what was high quality?
Yes, creepy.
Yes, right. Yeah, so something's high quality.
We need to have this. We need to have high quality during Halloween, and creepy would be our word, because they'll memorize it well. Yeah. Are you creepy?
Creepy. Yeah.
The good way, though.
Yeah.
High quality.
The good creepy. Yes. Yes. So that one. But I was gonna mention that today we had Russell, and he is a yerbero. He is a yerbero, right? So anybody that deals, but we are also yerberos because we're consumers, right? So if you are in the selling or buying, which is all of us, this is what we're at, right? Yerbero. But this is usually slang that we hear in Cuba, so Cuba Spanish. Because you have to remember, right, this plant is coming from all over the world and not just in the US. So it's really fun to learn the culture part about it and see what other what other people say and think about it. So
I got some new words to use now instead of just "Donde está la mota?"
Exactly. Yes. ¿Dónde está la mota? Well, here's some other ones that we say. You got mota. Yeah, that's one of the common, most common, but another popular one is marimba.
Marimba.
Sounds like a dance.
I like Doña Maria too. That always sounds cool.
Yeah, I'm sure my Spanish is more Spanglish and Tex-Mex mixed in there. It's probably not the proper stuff, but
yeah, these are all going to be slang, so you'll hear both from all over. But yes, and I wanted to share with everyone part of that. I'm creating some games if everybody wants to kind of play along at home, or we're trying to find things to do. I know we've played some of these before, but I wanted to let everybody know that I'm going to put it on our LinkedIn bio, not our LinkedIn, our Linktree bio. Well, maybe I should put it on LinkedIn.
I was like, wow,
too.
Is this a LinkedIn subject?
Yeah, no, but I can. I
Why
will
not?
anyways. And there are going to be a bunch of Kahoot games and you'll see some of these
Awesome.
going on. If anybody has come on our show, you've played Cahoots, right? I think the last time we did that was we did a little 420 trivia. So you can play with your friends. Everybody can kind of do this Zoom share with everyone, since we're still socially distancing for a little while longer. And winter's coming, so we'll be indoors, right?
It felt like
weather,
winter
the weather
today.
out there just
Yeah.
told me winter's coming.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was 58 degrees when I woke up this morning here in Richardson.
Yeah,
So
it
that's,
is. It's still
54 for
60
us.
degrees here. Yes.
So we were
Yeah,
just like,
so
wait, what? Okay.
I mean,
Try
it's
to find
gonna
a jacket.
go. Yes. So
Awesome. So these will be on our link tree. You'll be able to go in, play
on
some
our
games
Instagram, yes.
on the
And
Instagram.
I'll be creating more. So you just want to go in there and you press play. You can invite as many people as you want. You're always going to want to teach. Somebody has to be the teacher, as always. So if you're going to host it, you kind of don't, well, I guess you can play because you don't know the answers, right? But yeah,
True.
Now,
everybody
is this
kind of,
game? Sorry, is
it's
this
all
game creepy or
Creepy.
is it creepy?
sí, es creepy, es muy creepy. Yeah, so just put it on, you can play with teams too if you all want to get together, classic. So it's kind of easy. We can do, you get your phone, people that are watching the screen, you press start. You can have up to, I think, 100 players. So you can even host some of these if you guys want to do any virtual parties. So what you do is you get your phone and you go to that website, which is kahoot.it. You go, it's gonna send you to this place where all you have to do is enter the game number 30477068, enter, and then you give yourself a name.
I love it.
Yeah, so
Captain
see,
Cannabis for
bam,
me.
there's me. I'm gonna join. So anybody can join. You can play. You can lock it if you don't want people to come in afterwards, but it'll always be open. And then once you press start, everyone that has access, like right now, just me, I can start doing these questions. So when is 420? I mean, some of them I hope you guys know. And if you don't know, now you know. Today, almost
Every
long this
day.
year.
all month long. Yeah, I think
Right.
all of the
Every
above.
day,
We need
April
a,
All of the
20th,
above.
Oh, yeah.
all of the above, right?
yeah.
So just kind of press whatever you think is, and yay. But people could have put all month long this year because we did play in April 20th. Right.
Oh no, yeah. Is there like a support tab where if they disagree, then it goes into like a jury to decide the winner?
You can, right? Yeah.
Taking your
Work it out
SAT
on
where
your
you
own,
gotta
guys.
Work it out. Yeah. So I'm not going to spoil the rest of it, but that's just kind of to show you some of the things that we got up there. So yay.
Amazing. Well, we love our Spanish word of the week.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
super stoked to have Russell here. Russell, they can go find you at DFW CBD. And can we put up his website again as well?
Yeah, the
Yes.
DFW is for our store, and then the brand website's Airmid Hemp Extracts, and that's AIRMID hempextracts.com.
Perfect.
So yeah, and then just something I want to mention before we wrap up.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
any nonprofits, we work with a lot of nonprofits because we donate for every bottle that we sell of the Airmid brand. We donate a bottle to one of our nonprofits. So we work with Dallas Dogger, which is a big local rescue here. The Warriors Keep, which is a big veterans organization here in McKinney, and then like Winrose Academy, which is a special needs autistic school. So we donate every time we get a purchase, we donate a bottle to them as well. But we also work with them where we give them a special promo code where if they give it out to their followers or their social media people, they get 20% of the buyer gets 20% off the purchase, and then we donate 20% of that purchase to that organization as well. So it's a good way for them to fundraise throughout the year, allowing them to get CBD that helps them, and then also raise funds to help their organization. So any nonprofits that are out there that could benefit from CBD, get in contact with us. We'll gladly set you up with the promo code. That way you guys can start fundraising and making money that way. Then we can start donating to you guys as well. So
that is really awesome. I love that not only are you supporting these missions, but you're literally donating 1-to-1. That is amazing. So be sure to go check them out on the website. And this, I should say also, we got everything streamed up on all the podcasting subscribers this week. So you can now find the Texas Hemp Party on Spotify, on iTunes, on Google, on iHeartRadio. Actually, I think that one's pending. It's going to take like a week, but pretty much any platform where you like to listen to podcasts, you can now find us. Our last 3 episodes are up there. We're going to be putting the rest of them up soon. And this one will be dropping there later today. So we're super stoked about that. So now we like also have to, so I love that you spelled out the website, because Cynthia, we have to remember this, that we're not like, look and go here. Oh, wait, you can only hear us in your car.
Yeah, we had some, apparently we've been told by some branding people that it's not the best name, but it is, because it's kind of hard, doesn't really go. But when I was looking for names, like my heritage is Scottish, I'm Celtic, and that's what Airmid is. Yeah, Airmid was the Celtic goddess of herbal healing. So once I started doing that, I was like, that's a perfect, like, what we're trying to do. So I like it. But yeah,
who is it? What's the name again?
It's Airmid. It's Airmid. Yeah, she was the Celtic goddess of herbal healing. So that's kind of, I love it.
You know, and that's what we always say about names, is it's like, what's Nike? What's Adidas? Like, come on, really, it's about what you stand for at the end of the day.
Sure, yeah, it's how you build your brand and your culture, and what you stand for is what's going to be a bigger impact on the customer base versus, you know, what you decide to name the brand. So
absolutely.
How many people now wish they saved it and they named their brand actually a CBG?
Right, yeah. Or cannabinoids plus.
Well, yeah, even, you know, the advertising, like we were talking about earlier, if you have CBD in your name, like you're not going to be able to advertise anywhere. So that's kind of why we went with, you know, Airmid Hemp instead of CBD, just because also, you know, we want to be able to diversify and do the other cannabinoids. And if your brand name is whatever CBD, then, you know, it's going to be harder for you to branch out into a CBG
CBN store.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Have you some nap pods set up in there, and people can take some CBN, take a nap.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome, y'all. Well,
so nice to meet you, Russell.
This was fantastic.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys.
This was absolutely fantastic. We love, of course, talking hemp. It's a Texas Hemp Party, so we're going to leave y'all with a little bit of tunes. And until next Thursday, thanks so much for tuning in.
Thanks for listening,
We'll
guys.
see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Love y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Or we won't leave you with tune. Okay, and so that didn't actually play music, but that's fine. We'll just drop some music in there later, so it'll be perfect. Awesome, guys. We'll see ya soon. Hemp Tour's out.